The Last of Us 2 was a miserable experience. Bar a few moments, the game was just plain depressing. This probably makes all the trolls happy because they think I'm another person who doesn't like the game, but that couldn't be any further from the truth. Some games are fun, wholesome experience, where The Last of Us is just bleak. And do you know what? That's okay. It's great, to be honest. Games can tell a wide range of stories, from kid-friendly experiences like Battle for Bikini Bottom and most Nintendo games, to gritty, realistic commentaries on humanity like The Last of Us 2 and Red Dead Redemption 2. Whether you like it or not, you have to respect the fact that Naughty Dog aren't afraid to make the game they want to make. Hi everyone, my name is Adzi. Today we're going to talk about The Last of Us Part 2, so subscribe if you like what you see. Now, on to the video. Full spoilers ahead, so be warned. The setting of the game is obviously the part that is the most depressing. It is near impossible to understand how you would react to the situation in the game, making it even more difficult to fully understand the motives of the characters. If we take the first game for example, Ellie was the last thing of importance in Joel's life, and he was willing to prevent a vaccination just to save her. I'd like to think if I was in that situation, I would put my personal happiness aside and think of the greater good. But in a world where there's so little to live for, the one last thing in Joel's life would have significantly more meaning than if he had more to live for apart from Ellie. The game starts off on a pretty positive note. We get a glimpse of what normal life is like. We see that Ellie is a very creative person, both playing music and drawing, so maybe in a normal life she would be an artist of some description. There are a few moments like this peppered throughout the game, but for the most part, they turn bad when some mushroom fecker pops out of nowhere to scare the shite out of you. The special moments like the museum and the guitar shop can't be enjoyed to their full, because you always have that what if something bad is around the corner type of feeling. And yes, this is the choice word of the video, it just makes it miserable. The gameplay is fantastic. It's actually a good stealth game. You have so many more options when engaging in combat, swimming underneath the enemies, hiding in tall grass while enemies stalk you. But here is where we see one of the most miserable parts of the game. Every single kill means something. Enemies are all given names, so if you kill someone's friend, they'll scream out their name and hunt you down. The theme of revenge is everywhere and will play a massive part in the bleakness of the game. Even when you stealth kill an enemy or a runner, you can see the struggle in both the character and the enemy's face. And of course, the most horrifying part of the combat is killing dogs. They're a really good addition to the combat, making it a lot more difficult to hide, but hearing their squeals as you kill them it's just horrifying, and I just didn't want to do it at all. There's a special quality to the Seraphites as well. The first encounter with them is so tense. You get shot by an arrow, which made me shit myself, and then you see them slowly hone in on you as they whistle to communicate. There's an eerie quality to their communication, similar to the noises that the clickers make. It just puts you on edge. While I feel the combat lends its hand to the dark nature of the game, I think there are a few parts of the story that are even worse. All of these things lead up to the ending that makes you feel reluctant to do what the game is asking you to do. To me, the game wanted you to hate what revenge brings out in people, and if it was their goal, then it achieved it perfectly. Right from the start, your curiosity as a player is piqued by playing as Abby. It created plenty of questions. Why am I playing as her? Why is she significant? And how long will I play as her? I couldn't wait to find all the answers to these questions, but I had to wait, and jeez, it was a long wait. I was so invested in the game, and was reluctant to put it down. The reason why I didn't say I couldn't put it down is because I had to put it down. This game is heavy, and after a couple of hours I needed a break, and this is why I said it was a miserable experience. Every single second of this game was engaging, but I couldn't play it the same way I can any other game. I know this video is really artsy fartsy bullshit, and I'm talking about this game as if it's something other than a game, but it is special. I can't think of any other game bar The Last of Us 1 that made me feel this sense of dread, and I would argue that the sequel does it way better. Throughout the original I was fully behind both characters and their actions, even in the ending. But there were parts of this game that I just couldn't get behind the decisions that the characters made. Going into the game, Ellie was a character that we all loved, and at the start she was the same character. A take-no-bullshit person that wasn't afraid to speak her mind. The rage built from the death of Joel changed her into a monster. I could fully understand why she became this, and for a while I was rooting for her. Killing all the members of the WLF was a just cause, leading up to the altercation with Abby in the theatre. At that moment I wanted to kill Abby after what she did. But then the game flipped the script. One by one, everything I was backing Ellie up on was undone. Seeing Abby interact with all the members of the WLF, and seeing that they were all the same, just trying to survive day by day. Finding out Abby's motives made me sympathise with her in a way that the game has never made me do it with an antagonist. After 10 or so hours of playing as Abby, you get to know her, and it makes the latter half of the game all the more miserable. Lev and Yarrow are used similarly to Ellie in the first game. Ellie in the original brought out the humanity in Joel, and she was used to show the protective side of him. Lev and Yara showed Abby's human side. Until you meet her, you just think she's some gym rat that brutally murdered Joel, but you can see that she cares about Lev and Yara. This all leads up to the confrontation in the theatre. And can I just say, the second I saw how the backstage was designed, I knew there was going to be some combat in it. But at this stage, I was torn on who I wanted to win this fight. Both characters had good motives, with their father figure being killed by the other. It's such a cool storytelling device, and I've never felt more dread when it was happening. I think the ending here would have sufficed for me. I like that neither character died and they both managed to get away. It was cathartic for both characters, and they got it all off their chest. The actual ending is one of the most miserable parts of a game I've ever played. Abby is barely recognisable, she's a shell of her former self, and doesn't look ready to fight. In this moment I sided with Abby. Why can Abby let it go and Ellie can't? This game succeeded. When Ellie put the knife up to Lev's throat, I hated her. Having to fight Abby, even though she didn't want to, was an awful experience. I never felt more reluctant doing something in a game before. I was glad in the end when she let her go. I was already hating Ellie in that moment, and if she did kill her, then it would have been the final nail in the coffin. When you're hitting square drowning Abby, you just see how dark this game is. You can see the struggle in Ellie's face, and I just wanted to stop pressing square. I just didn't want it to happen. All in all, I've never felt like this playing a game before. And I know some people might think that sounds like bullshit or something, but it's really a special feeling that this game gives you. Now, it's not a good feeling, but it's definitely something unique. So there we have it. The Last of Us Part 2 was a miserable experience. The atmosphere the game creates is unrivaled. Even playing games like Resident Evil 7, I was terrified, but I didn't have the same pit in my stomach kind of feeling that The Last of Us 2 gave me. This year it's going to be tough to pick a top 10. All I can say is that this game is 100% in it somewhere. So thank you so much for watching. I hit 300 subscribers at the start of the week, so thanks for supporting me up to now. It's really great to have discussions with all you in the comments, so let me know what you think of The Last of Us 2. And I'll see you all on the next video.